as you can see, I'm still making these for my throw, for my sofa. But I did want to share with you the color patterns that I'm going to be using for that one. And I am going to do a how it was made on this one to show you how to make this pattern. Beautiful, beautiful pattern at the end of the day. These I haven't blocked yet, so as you can see, the ends are still curling a little bit, but I haven't gotten them all made. So I'm not going to block them until I'm done. And then I'll share how they were made, and you'll be able to see how to put this together. It's really simple. It's a two-stitch, basically, a two-stitch pattern. That you just do in multiple colors, and these are the colors that I chose for my throw. So, but for this occasion, I'm going to be sharing with you the block stitch. It's a beautiful pattern that you can do in multiple colors. I will be sharing with you the outstanding crocheter who I learned this from, and I will be giving you looks at what she created, and also providing you with her channel information so that you can go and see some of the other crochet patterns she uses to create beautiful fabric. But this she did, this block stitch she did in multiple colors, and I just chose two because it's a repeating two-stitch pattern. Very easy, very simple. If you know basic chain, double crochet, and single crochet, you'll have this down in no time, and you'll be able to knock this out, whatever it is you choose to use this to create fabric with, whether it be a scarf, a blanket, or a hat, or gloves, or even a shawl. You can probably use the block stitch pattern for. But I will be sharing this and how she did it. Now, I did this in a bulkier weight yarn. This is Super Lana Maxi. It's just a little bit smaller than the really, really bulky yarn, to give you an idea of what that would look like. You can do this in any yarn using the appropriate hook size for that yarn. And then I did it in worsted to kind of give you an idea of the difference in how the yarn will make the pattern look. And yeah, it's really, really simple and easy to make. So without further ado, let's get started on what we need to do here. So we're going to start off with our slip knot. Number of ways to make the slip knot, number of ways to make it. So however you make it, fine. And with this particular pattern, because the block stitching is in groups of 3, whatever the size of the project you're working on, just remember to count off groups of 3 for its length or its width, depending on, again, how big you want the project to be. Once you get your groups of 3, add 2 stitches to that. So if your project is 21 inches wide, like this is 21 stitches, add 2. So you're going to chain 23. Hopefully that made sense. And so we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to chain 23 stitches. And when you get that done, I will meet you to show you where we're going to go from there. All right? Okay, so we've got our 23 chain stitches made. Now with this particular pattern, you can go right into the face of the stitches, because the first round is going to be all double crochet, or you can use the back bump of the stitches. The raised, if you turn your chain over, you'll see that raised stitch right in the middle. That's what we call the back bump. You can go right underneath that stitch. The crocheter that showed me this pattern, or taught me this pattern, uses the back bump, and I actually like the way that looks. I prefer that. But again, you can go right into the face of your stitches if you prefer. So I'm gonna turn this over, and I'm gonna use the back bump. But before I do, I want to count off 5 chain stitches from the hook. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be my 5th stitch, and I'm going to go right into that back bump, the raised stitch behind it, with a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go right up underneath that stitch. And sometimes it can be a little bit of a test to get up underneath those back bump stitches, but that's okay. Be patient and work the needle, the head of the needle or the hook right up underneath that stitch and create your double crochet stitch. And we're going to do this all the way to the end. And I want you to save the very last raised stitch or stitch for what I'll show you next. And that's, if you're going to use multiple colors, this is where we're going to change our color. Will be on that very last stitch. So go ahead and double crochet all the way to the end, save the last stitch for the color change, or I'll show you how you can just continue on from there if you're going to use one color for the pattern. Meet you there. Okay, so you should be at your very last stitch. Always make sure that you work the very last stitch of every row. And what we've done now, we've done the foundation chain, our 23 chain stitches, and we've completed row 1. This is one of the repeating rows, the double crochet row. The next row we're going to do, I like to call building a bridge, and you'll see why here in a second. But if you're going to work with more than one color, you always, well, you can change colors on every row you do, whether it be the double crochet row or the bridge row. You can change colors on each row. For this exercise, I'm going to be changing colors only on the double crochet row. So here I'm going to do my final double crochet and see if I can't get up underneath that back bump here. Told you sometimes it can be a bit of a booger, but just be patient and continue to work through it. Oh, I split the yarn on it, so let's go under it again. Alright, so we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and I'm going to leave 2 loops on the hook. Here's where I'm going to change the color. Bring in my second color, add it to the hook, and pull through. And I'm going to tighten up the yarn here on that row. Not too tight, but just tight enough. And then I'm going to grab the tail of the color change, hold it down, and pull the tension on the yarn a little bit to pull the stitches together. Okay? Now, when I'm doing my build a bridge row after the double crochet row, we are not going to chain up on this row. We're just going to turn our work, and we're going to work off this very first stitch following the hook. We're going to do a single crochet into this stitch. So we're going to go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, and we're going to yarn over and pull through. That's a single crochet. Now next, that's just to anchor the yarn. But this space right here underneath that single crochet, I'm going to place a single crochet. So I'm going to go into it, pull the yarn through, not too tight. Remember, you want your tension to be loose but not sloppy. And I'm going to place a single crochet stitch just like that. Now, building this bridge, I'm going to chain 2 after every single crochet that I do. And then from that, I'm going to count 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. After the third, I'm going to work in the space. Not in the stitches up here, in the space in between. And I'm going to place a single crochet. It should look like that. That's what I call building a bridge, because you're walking across the groups of 3. And that's how you get your block stitches of 3 stitches. By placing a single crochet before the first and placing a single crochet after the third stitch. Okay? So now from here we're going to chain 2, and we're going to count 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to place a single crochet in the space after the third double crochet. See? And we're going to walk this all the way to the end. Now when you get to this very last stitch here, I want you to wait for me. Meet you there. Okay, that should have been really quick to get to the end of this. I've got my last group of 3. I'm going to place my single crochet in the space between the third and the final stitch. And now in this final stitch, at the very top stitch, I'm going to place another single crochet. So you can turn it over to see the 2 legs of your stitch and see if you can work your way into that top stitch. If you can't get into the top stitch, no worries. Use the second stitch. But if you use the second stitch here, you got to make sure that you use that second stitch every time you do it, so that your edges will be even. So we're going to place a single crochet into that stitch, and let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got the beginning. These are the 2 repeating rows for the entire pattern. No matter how many different colors you use, these are the 2 repeating rows for the entire pattern. Now with the build a bridge row, that's the only row where we chain up before we turn our work. And here we want to chain 3 and then turn our work. This row goes super quick because now all you're doing is your block stitching. You're placing 3 double crochets under your 2 chain bridge that you created. So under each of these 2 chain bridges, you're going to place 3 double crochets. We're going to repeat this first row here, but it's a lot easier to see now that we've begun the pattern completely. So let's go ahead and place 3 double crochets under the first 2 chain bridge. 1, 2, and 3. And that's what you should have. Now here we're not going between each block, set of block stitches, we are not going to chain. We're going to go right into the next chain 2 space with 3 double crochets. 1, oops, 2, and 3. See what we got here. You can see the pattern coming to life here. And you can see all of the things you could do creatively by switching colors on every round. How beautiful that would be, as long as your colors match off well against one another. So let's go ahead and finish the next block chain of 3 double crochets. That's 1 and 2 and 3. So keep that going till you get to the end, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so you should be here to our last double crochet, and if you've noticed, each of these rows end with one final stitch in the final stitch. So we're going to double crochet into that very last single crochet stitch right there at the top. You want to go up underneath both legs of that stitch and work your final double crochet for this round. Now if you're going to change colors here, you're only going to, remember on the double crochet round I change colors. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 of the loops, and I'm going to leave 2 loops on my hook. And because I'm using the same color, I'm going to cut the color now from the previous round so that I can now add it to this row. Tighten up the yarn just a little bit, and here. And I've done my color change, and I'm getting ready for the next row. The next row is my Build-A-Bridge row. Always after my block 3 row or my double crochet row is my Build-A-Bridge row. And that's single crochets, and with the single crochets we do not chain up. We just churn the work and begin to work in that stitch right after the hook. So I'm going to go into the stitch, pull the yarn through, place a single crochet to anchor my yarn, and I'm going to find the space after that stitch and place a single crochet to begin my set of 3. So I'm going to count 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. In the space after the third, I'm going to place a single crochet. Oops, I did that. Pay attention. We need to chain 2 here. You see what happens when you lose track of where you are. So easy enough, pull it apart, go back, do your chain 2s, and go into that space after the third double crochet and place a single crochet. I'm going to chain 2 here. Remember the Build-A-Bridge row, after each single crochet you chain 2, count 3, place a single crochet, 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 chain 2, count your last 3, place a single crochet, and then look for that top stitch and place your final single crochet for the round. And there you have the 2-row repeating pattern that makes some beautiful block stitches. Beautiful, just beautiful. So, and I'm sure you can probably increase this if you want to use more than 3 in your block. You can probably increase it. If you increase it to, say, 5, then you want to make sure you use 4 chains in between, placing your single crochets. Okay? And then remember on the Build-A-Bridge row, we chain up 3, and then we turn our pattern, because the next row we're going to build is this row, the double crochet row. Okay? And keep going until you've gotten it the size you want, and enjoy doing it. Have fun. Use multiple colors. I just used 2 for the sake of the tutorial, but use multiple colors. It was actually very beautiful. The outstanding crocheter that taught me this pattern was Hooked by Robin. I will give you some snapshots of the work she did in her tutorial, as well as give you the address to her channel, so you can go and check out all of the patterns that she offers. She's got some wonderful work on her page. So go ahead and pay her a visit and look and see if there's something there that stimulates your creative genius, and go ahead and blend in some beautiful fabric. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I look forward to coming back so that I can share with you this granny square. I just love this granny square, and I've done this in multiple colors, but these two just for my throw. And I'll bring that back to you hopefully soon. But here you go, something that you can enjoy creating beautiful fabric out of. Have a wonderful day, you guys, and if you haven't already done it, by all means, please do acknowledge the Creator of all things before you begin your work. Have a great day today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.